The Galactic Council had been certain of their victory. For 3,000 years, the ancient gateways that connected star systems across the galaxy had remained sealed, locked by the combined will of 17 civilizations who had deemed faster-than-light travel too dangerous for lesser species. The humans, they had calculated, would remain trapped in their insignificant solar system for millennia, perhaps forever. Ambassador Zexthari of the Voidborn Empire examined the holographic display with growing unease. The readings were impossible, yet undeniable. Something was moving through space at velocities that shouldn't exist, not without gateway technology. "Confirm the sensor data," Zexthari commanded, his crystalline voice echoing through the observation deck of the monitoring station at the edge of Council space. The junior technician, a six-armed Catherian, frantically operated multiple control interfaces simultaneously. "Ambassador, the readings are confirmed. Multiple vessels approaching at approximately 40% light speed. Sir, nothing should be able to achieve such velocity through conventional means." Zexthari's compound eyes narrowed. The humans had been contained for barely 2 centuries since their first attempts at interstellar travel. Their primitive chemical rockets and early fusion drives had been amusing, even endearing in their inefficiency. The Council had watched with condescending patience as humanity struggled against the fundamental barriers of physics. But this changed everything. "Origin point?" Zexthari asked, though he already suspected the answer. "Sol system, sir. The human homeworld." 3 hours later, the human fleet decelerated into normal space just beyond the monitoring station's defensive perimeter. Zexthari watched in stunned silence as vessels unlike anything in Council records hung motionless against the starfield. They weren't sleek like Voidborn ships or organically curved like Catherian biocraft. They were angular, industrial, and somehow menacing in their utilitarian design. The communication request came immediately. Zexthari accepted it, his diplomatic training overriding his shock. The holographic display shimmered, revealing a human female with graying hair and tired eyes. She wore what appeared to be an engineering uniform rather than military dress. "I'm Commander Sarah Chen of the Terran Engineering Corps," she said, her voice carrying an edge of barely controlled frustration. "We need to talk." "I am Ambassador Zexthari. Your presence here is unexpected. By what means did you traverse the void without gateway access?" Chen's laugh was bitter. "You really want to know? Fine. When you sealed the gateways, you forced us to find another way. Turns out, when you lock the front door, humans have a tendency to check if there are any windows left open." She gestured to someone off-screen, and the display split to show technical schematics that made Zexthari's translator implants struggle to process the complexity. "Meet the Alcubierre Chen drive, version 3.7, Chen continued. "Took us 150 years to crack the math, another 30 to build the first prototype, and 20 more to make it reliable. We don't punch holes through space-time like your gateways. We fold space around our ships and surf the gravitational waves." Zexthari felt his primary heart skip a beat. The technical readouts showed energy signatures that dwarfed anything in Council archives. "This is theoretically impossible. The power requirements alone would demand the output of multiple stars." "Would and do," Chen replied casually. "Good thing humans are excellent at finding creative solutions to impossible problems. We've been building Dyson swarms around every star in our local cluster for the past century. Turns out, when you tell engineers something can't be done, they take it as a personal challenge." The ambassador's compound eyes widened as the implications hit him. You've harnessed entire stellar outputs for propulsion?" "Just getting started," Chen said, and now her smile was genuinely frightening. "See, while you were congratulating yourselves on keeping us contained, we had time to really think about physics. Your gateways are impressive, sure, but they're also predictable. Fixed points, established routes, central control. Very orderly, very limited." She paused, and her expression hardened. "We don't like limitations." Another gesture brought up a star map that made Zexthari's blood run cold. It showed not just the local galactic arm, but trajectories extending toward the galactic core and beyond. Our deep space sensors have been busy, Chen continued. We've identified 17 different gateway networks, each one locked down by your little council. But here's the thing about human engineers. We don't just solve the problem in front of us. We solve all the related problems too. The display zoomed in on what Zexithari initially thought was empty space, then resolved into massive geometric structures that dwarfed entire planets. Construction Platform Gamma 7, Chen explained. One of 43 currently in operation. We're not just building ships, Ambassador. We're building infrastructure. Permanent infrastructure that doesn't depend on anyone's permission. Zexithari's secondary heart began racing. What? What do you want? Want? Chen's laugh was sharp. We want what we've always wanted. To explore, to learn, to build, to grow. You tried to cage us, so we built our own sky. You sealed the gateways, so we carved new paths through space itself. She leaned forward, and her eyes held the dangerous gleam of someone who had spent decades turning impossible into inevitable. The question isn't what we want, Ambassador. The question is what the Council is prepared to offer in exchange for not being left behind entirely. The communication ended, leaving Zexithari staring at empty space where the human fleet had been moments before. His sensors showed nothing. The ships had simply vanished, folded space around themselves, and disappeared faster than his instruments could track. In the silence of his command center, Zexithari realized the terrible truth. The Council hadn't contained humanity. They had given them 2 centuries of uninterrupted time to solve problems no other species had even attempted to address. And humans, it turned out, were terrifyingly good at solving problems. He reached for the emergency communication array, knowing that the galaxy was about to change forever. The gateways had been sealed to keep lesser species in their place, but the humans had never needed gateways in the first place. They had simply needed time to remember that doors were meant to be opened.